Uh, Blue Cross Blue Shield, the anesthesia case, I think they've reversed their position. But to me, this is an unbelievable story. They tried in quiet of the night, they came up with this rule. And that is if you're going to have surgery, you can only have so much anesthesia, and then you're going to have to pay for it out of your pocket, or the doctor's going to take the loss by keeping you under anesthesia. It doesn't make any difference if you have brain surgery, if they're replacing your, hip joint, whatever it is. If you wake up, too bad. And so pick the story up.
Yeah. They basically want to make it like paid parking, where every 15 minutes you got to pay the meter to stay under anesthesia, which, by the way, is just one of the most sociopathic things I think I've ever seen.
Excuse me, isn't it 15-minute increments? They literally have it down to 15-minute increments on how they do this.
Mm-hmm. And they base it on their formulas, not the formulas of a doctor who says, listen, I've done this surgery 500 times. I know it takes me 4 hours to do it. You're only giving him 2.5 hours of anesthesia. That ain't going to cut it. I mean, he's going to wake up halfway through. And they said, well, that's your problem. That's not our issue.
Well, I hit, the case that I handled up in Alabama. Matter of fact, we just settled it last year. It was against Blue Cross Blue Shield. Settled it for several $1 billion. And what ended up happening there, they were doing things like, there was a long history of people that they keep records of this. People who they believe died directly related to their failure to pay for a procedure. You have cancer, they say, I don't know if we're really going to pay for this kind of cancer, and the person ends up dying. There are lists of them, okay? That's one thing they do. The other scam is to put all these hidden costs into what you're paying every month without ever knowing what you're paying for. The other scam is to completely communicate directly with the doctor, telling the doctor or the doctor's office, not you, that they may not pay for the procedure. There's no communication with you. It goes to the doctor. They insulate themselves that way. It's the most corrupt industry in the country. I've been, as you probably I've been going to trial against insurance companies my entire career.
Yeah.
It is the most corrupt, unregulated industry in this country that is stealing us blind and killing people. This is an example of it.
Well, and then, people wonder, why is there so much sympathy when somebody murders a CEO for the murderer as opposed to the CEO? I mean, this is why. And look, that whole story too, which ties into this, obviously, it reminds me of a segment you and I had done, 10 years ago. And I can't remember the name of the index, but we talked about the index that shows how much people will take before you hit that period of social unrest.
Yes.
And it showed that the United States was right on the cusp.
Yeah, they were like 8 on a scale of 10.
And so I think that incident that we saw with the United Healthcare CEO, that was part of that. That individual may not be representative of the entire country, but for that person, the index hit 10. And not excusing what they did by any stretch. Don't kill people.
There's no excuse. But you know what? It was a jury rebellion. The problem with the insurance company on this particular case, Blue Cross Blue Shield, their defense is there was just a misunderstanding is absurd. I mean, it's absolutely crazy and absurd. But that was their position. People didn't understand what we were really up to. Well, no, we did understand. You wrote it down. We saw the policy. Doctors talked about it. You're lying again. And so they are freaked out by it.
Yeah. I mean, there's no... the amount of sympathy, that we see for the alleged shooter really shows how much just people across this country hate the health insurance industry. Yeah. And it truly is quite shocking to see that almost.
This guy was he's not really a sympathetic character. Okay, he's a
silver spoon,
wealthy silver spoon elite with Ivy League educations, had everything he wants.
Valedictorian.
He grew up in a perfect home with multi-millionaire parents who gave him everything he wanted. He is not a sympathetic character at all. But I think people are giving him a break because they hate the insurance industry so badly.
Right.
I mean, nothing you can do about that.